The Financial Security for All community is a group of extension educators who work in the area of personal finance, consumer economics, and family resource management all across the country. And our aim is to improve the quality of life for citizens by providing the knowledge and the skills and increasing financial literacy so that consumers, American consumers, can build financial security throughout their lifetime. And this webinar series seeks to provide resources and programs to help our educators be the very best they can be and give tools and resources for our educators to reach the consumers they serve. So we're very happy to have with us kicking off 2021, our 2021 series of webinars, Karen Richell, and she's going to be talking about how to shake financial numbness. So being stuck in financial stress can be really dangerous. We know that that can affect your health and well-being in addition to your pocketbook, and it's been a stressful time for us as a country, as individuals, and facing this huge challenge, which can even add to that stress. And so she's going to talk about coping strategies and resilience as they apply to stress, anxiety, overall wellness, and financial decision making. Karen Richell is an accredited financial counselor and a certified money coach. She's with University of Idaho Extension. She's an associate professor and extension educator in family and consumer sciences. She is also the family finance educator in 10 North Idaho counties. She provides the communities that she serves with research-based information, and she specializes in providing basic financial education for every age and socioeconomic group, including low-income families, soon to be released prisoners, and as well as students. She offers classes, workshops, simulations on topics ranging from goal setting and tracking expenses to retirement and end-of-life planning. In addition, we mentioned she's an accredited financial counselor and certified money coach. These designations allow her to provide free one-on-one counseling sessions to help community members build strong financial foundations and secure their financial lives. So please join me in welcoming Karen Richell.
Thank you so much, Laura and Samantha. I appreciate this so much. I'm kind of nervous today. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm seeing everybody pop up, and it's exciting to have everybody here. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So I like to start off this question and this presentation with, this is my question for everybody. How many of you are feeling like this right now? Kind of like we're traveling on a ship that's sinking just a little bit more every day between work, no work, furloughs, layoffs, school, no school, kids, virus scares, constant upheaval, shifts in the market, slow moving vaccines. How do we actually start moving forward, and how do we recover and regain our footing? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So in March 2020, not to go back in history or anything, and we were all here, so we know this, but it seemed like our world just stopped. We kind of quit making plans. We quit going to work and school. We stayed in our houses. We quit visiting friends and family and loved ones. Our paychecks stopped. Everyday life as we knew it just stopped. Everything did. But did it really? We stopped planning and we moved into this weird little survival mode, but everything did not stop. Peter Dunn, also known as Pete the Planner, describes this as financial numbness. He talks about that feeling when you're driving along and all of a sudden you end up at your destination, but you have absolutely no idea how you got there. This is the same thing for our financial lives. We pay bills, we buy groceries, we keep our heads above water, only to be awakened by that bump in our financial road. Some of us live in a state of financial numbness for years by not paying attention to the current state of life or the world. They don't seem too concerned with planning for the future, and they spend like there's no tomorrow. There is a major problem with this, though. Financial numbness moves into what we call financial stuck in a rutness. Habits become part of a person's identity and lifestyle, and then you can't see the future through the challenge. With this pandemic, we are all getting a really good dose of financial numbness right now. And then as the system or the world tries to reboot, some have almost found comfort in that hiatus of making decisions and moving forward. For many, we've decided that it is safer for us to hold off or wait until this virus thing is done. Or worse, fear and stress actually start to take hold. After talking with a friend of mine, he shared with me that he's having some challenges with a lot of his clients. One client had everything put together for an amazing estate plan. It was perfect pre-COVID. It is perfect post-COVID too. Nothing had changed. All they needed to do was sign it, but they stopped and they said that they would think about it again after this virus thing was over. They were financially numb. Instead of continuing to make decisions and important life decisions, they actually just stalled. Another client called me the other day wanting to know what he needed to do because he was certain that the housing market was going to collapse, major industries were going to fail, and money was going to be useless in a matter of months. He wanted to protect himself through some really kind of sketchy processes and organizations. His fear was leading him to unsubstantiated and irrational thoughts that truly were going to jeopardize his future. If any of this sounds like you or someone that you work with or love, I'm going to help you move on, move forward, learn to live with gusto again. We're going to let go of the stagnant, the fear. We're going to grab a hold of your grateful and look into the future. There is a future, and it is very, very bright. It is here. It looks a little bit different today, but tomorrow will be amazing, and we really have to plan for it. So the first thing we need to do is remember to breathe. This was a relaxation exercise I got, and I put it up on my wall, and I have to remember this every once in a while. But you breathe and take a deep breath, socially distanced, mind you, and just try to refocus a little bit. Together, we can actually reframe what our current situation looks like and make a plan that's going to work. So is everybody ready to get started? So we're going to paint a picture first. Let's start by just looking at what our future goals looked like. What were your dreams and goals pre-COVID? When this is all over, what would you like your financial life to look like? How are you doing right now? Are your expenses being met? Are you figuring out how to navigate this challenge, or are you hiding and waiting for the good news next month? Let me tell you that no matter what you're doing or not doing, you are surviving. And that's the key point here. Right now, let's make sure that you're surviving with a plan. The only thing that we can always count on is change. So let's make sure that we're evolving with that change instead of staying behind. Looking at your spending and savings plan, does it actually exist? Are you avoiding it because you're scared to see what it looks like? How about your credit? How's it doing? How are you making day-to-day expense payments? Have you looked into COVID resources? There are lots of resources out there. So what would you have done differently regarding your finances if you knew what you know now? If you aren't sure about what your financial well-being looks like, there's a wonderful website that you can go on to. And it's here, and I bet that Laura will type this into the chat box for us too. So also, are you remembering to breathe? That is essential. Make sure that you tell yourself each day that this is just an unexpected glitch, but you have survived months with this hitch. This will be over, and we want you to make sure that you're financially stable in all parts of your journey, pre, during, post, and for many years in the history books to come. Your attitude and your determination will actually define where you go from here. People are animals. I'm sorry, we are. We just really are. When we're stressed and fearful, sometimes spending is the only control that we have. We saw it in full form in March with the runs on paper products and everything else. The other day I went to the store and you could not find a packet of spaghetti, the spaghetti seasoning anywhere. I don't know why spaghetti seasoning. Everything else was there. This is our inability to forward think. It changes how people look at things. They turn into hoarders and gatherers, trying to stock up in case of the 20-year storm that's coming. The challenge is that when we start spending really crazy or comfort spending to make it through a rough patch, goals and future plans get put on hold and even forgotten. And in some cases, the overspending actually makes it impossible to reach those 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 25-year lifetime goals down the road, if ever. This leads to missed opportunities, stress, depression, fighting with your neighbor, and a really large hole in your financial picture. So today's presentation is really about making sure that you're not stuck or numb, financially or otherwise, and that you have the resources to help you continue to move forward. We will be talking about how to put stress and fear in their rightful place. They are important and they're useful, just not right now. We will also cover how to move forward by changing your perspective, practicing gratitude, being joyful in every moment, and making resilience a habit. We finish off with getting back to the things we love right now. Let's work on some of the bigger challenges that might be keeping us from moving forward. Stress and fear are a huge thing. Stress occurs when you believe that the demands being placed on you are greater than your abilities to actually meet them. If it is your personal response to these certain situations, it doesn't always result from a specific life event, but it can come from any situation or thought. And some events that are stressful to you might not be stressful to anybody else. There might be your own stress and fear. They come in two different forms, either short-term stress, and this is experienced during an immediate or perceived threat, and your body responds in this weird little fight or flight response. When the threat passes, your body relaxes. Long-term stress, however, comes from ongoing situations and thoughts. This is such as health conditions or pandemics, relationship problems, or financial worries. Long-term stress usually generates less of a physical response, but your body actually experiences the stressful state for a longer time. Experiencing that chronic stress can actually take a toll on your health and your well-being. So stress can actually have positive and negative effects on your body. Stress with positive effects, they're exciting. They promise new opportunity, such as a birth of a child or a new job. They can challenge and motivate you. Generally, these stressors have an end in sight, so that's what's good about them. Stress with negative effects occur when you feel out of control or under constant stress or intense pressure. This is what we're feeling right now with the pandemic. The less control you have over a potentially stressful event, the more uncertainty that's involved, the more likely you're going to be to feel those negative feelings or effects of stress. This is part of the reason that COVID is taking such a toll on so many people. This uncertainty of when it will end, lots and lots of emails saying during these unprecedented times and media blasting us daily with doom. This is exactly why we're all stressed out. When the stress is experienced for a long-term basis, many of the physical reactions that accompany it can actually damage your health. So stress might contribute to health problems like increased or decreased appetite, tummy aches, diarrhea, depression, anxiety, increased heart rate, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Your stress might even worsen other illnesses. So let's grab a key point here. Being stressed out decreases your ability to fight off illness, disease, and viruses. Maybe not the greatest time to be completely stressed out. And these are just some of the symptoms of stress. Do any of these look familiar? Some of these symptoms actually mimic the symptoms of COVID, which can even cause more stress. So there's just tons of them. So the sources of stress can be from all sorts of different places. They can be external, which include events and situations that you usually have a little bit of control over, but maybe not all of it. Might be work, an overwhelming workload, or maybe a layoff, family, a fight with your spouse or an uncooperative child, school changes, life changes, getting married, maybe the death of a loved one, unpredictable events, acts of terrorism, pandemics, the increase in monthly bills, or even a pay cut. Social, maybe making a speech or the lack of companionship or going out on a blind date. Internal stress comes from things within you, like thoughts, feelings, and actions. Generally, you have more control over this stress. It is like expectations, being a perfectionist or having a controlling personality. Overscheduling and not planning ahead can also contribute greatly to stress. Worry. Stress can come from worrying about what might happen in the future, about uncertain times ahead, or how somebody might react. Attitude and behavior is a big one. Being negative and making poor choices and bad conduct will not only elevate your stress, but everybody else's around you. Your health in general. Poor health habits include smoking, not getting enough sleep, chronic over or under eating, and not being physically active. These are all controllable, but they can cause great stress. So you really need to ask yourself a couple questions. Is it important to you? Will it matter in a day, a month, or a year from now? And can you control it? My wise old dad used to ask me when I was having a problem as a teenager, and I can hear his voice booming in my head, "Kid, is this something under your control?" However I responded to the question, I would get, "Well, let it go. It's none of your business right now. Sleep on it. Tomorrow will look better." Or, "Well, you have a choice. You can do something about it to make it better, or you can stress over it. You pick." He was always right. And usually there were a couple other choice words in there other than the ones I cleaned it up with. So, so what you need to think about is if it's important or controllable. So you can alter it by changing your situation to lessen the impact the stress has on you, or you can avoid it by getting away from it or preventing the source of stress. If it's not important and it's not or uncontrollable, you can accept things as they are and learn to live with the stress, or you can adapt and change your perspective in order to live with the stress. So we're going to talk a little bit more about each one of these. So if you alter things, you need to take an inventory, and that's an important thing. To alter your stress, you want to attempt to change your situation so that things work better in the future. Ask yourself to think about how you're reacting to a certain situation. If it's something that you need others to change, you also need to be willing to do the same. If small problems are not addressed and resolved, they often create bigger ones. Communicate your feelings openly. Use those I statements that we all learn about. So I feel frustrated by the shorter deadlines and heavier workload. Is there something that we can do to balance things out? Take action. Sometimes just the inaction causes tension and stress. Making a decision, even if it's one with risks, is actually going to help you get moving and relieve a lot of the stress in the long run. State your limits in advance. Be proactive. One example might be to share budget limits with family members before shopping, either a shopping trip or a holiday. These are important. Share your budget limits now as you're moving through the pandemic. You can also avoid a lot of your stress simply by planning ahead. If traffic is insane, leave early or take a different route. Take a little bit of control. Hate waiting in line to eat lunch. Pack your lunch and eat whenever and wherever you want. Say no. We have a lot of demands on our time. You have a lot of opportunities to figure out how you're going to spend your time. When making these choices, think about what you want to do and be picky about this. Now, I tell my boss that there are certain meetings that I would like to say no to, and he raises his eyebrows and says, "No, you can't say no to these." So there's all sorts of different opportunities. Only commit to the extra projects and activities that you really, really, truly want to do. Shorten your task list. What can you realistically put off tomorrow without any detrimental effects? I'm not telling you to be a procrastinator. I'm telling you to look at what you can change. Then think about, are these items really all that important anyway? If they're not, consider not doing them at all. Accepting. Talk with someone. You may not be able to change a frustrating situation, but that doesn't mean that your feelings are not legitimate. Phone or Zoom a friend or family member, write down your feelings and frustrations in a journal. You're going to feel a lot better once you get things off your chest and out of your head. Practice positive self-talk. I'll mention this a couple times through the presentation. We fall into these weird traps of bashing ourselves with thoughts or words. One negative thought can often lead to more, and they're rarely rational or objective. Instead, be positive. Focus on your strengths. Instead of saying, "I am horrible with money and I'm never going to get out of debt," try this. Just rephrase it. "I made a mistake with my money, but I am resilient and I am going to get through this." Learn from those mistakes. Life experiences can teach you a lot, even if it's only what does not work. You cannot change your mistakes, but you have that ability to make better decisions in the future. Think about this for a second. If you had an emergency fund in place prior to the pandemic, would you be as stressed right now if you had something to fall back on? These are all really good things of thinking about what we could do in the future. See stress as an opportunity. Most stress brings with it opportunity, even if it isn't always apparent at first. Look for that opportunity behind the stress, and it will help you get through anything. Adapting is just adjusting your expectations. We each have expectations about how things should be, whether conscious or subconscious. Evaluate what your expectations are and redefine your definitions to be realistic and achievable goals. Always avoid perfectionism. This is a hard thing for me. I like to have everything perfect, but sometimes things don't need to be perfect. Be grateful. This one's huge. Look around you and see what's right in this world. Spend time each day finding things for which you can be thankful. Record 3 things every day that you're grateful for, either right at bedtime or first thing in the morning. It's amazing the attitude shift that it'll bring for the day. And research actually shows that by being grateful, it can greatly reduce stress. Gratitude has the potential to change everything from its original state to really truly being a gift. Use humor and laughter. Whether the situation is horrible or funny, it really depends on how you look at it. Laugh at the craziness of it all. Humor and laughter has a great potential to relieve stress and help you feel better. Be physically active. It just helps. Any form of physical activity can decrease the production of the stress hormones and counteract your body's reaction to stress. And finally, learn to relax. Relaxation is a positive way to cope with stress, and it's satisfying, and it provides this really awesome peace of mind. So choose an activity that's going to help you find just that relaxing spot that you need. Some ideas might be reading, listening to music, gardening, maybe even deep breathing, meditation, yoga, or massage. And then one coping strategy might not work for every stress in your life. You can't avoid all the stress that comes into your life, but you shouldn't try to accept every hassle either. So choose the realistic coping strategies. Everyone is different. What works for one person or friend might not work for another. So just try one and evaluate it. See what's working. Look at it in a week or a month and decide if it's still effective. So in the chat box, can you guys list some coping strategies that you like to use? They might be very helpful to a friend. We're going to take a look at them here really quick. Oh, walk in the woods. Awesome, Bruce. That's excellent. Nice and peaceful. Focused breathing, crochet, listening to music, taking a bath. I always like taking a bath, glass of wine and candle, just different things that you can do. Go to my sewing room. Oh, these are all awesome, guys. So these are excellent coping strategies, and anything that puts you basically in your happy place. If you're having a hard time coming up with coping strategies or you want some more, please do get in touch with me. I've got gobs of them. So definitely keep sharing these. These are excellent. But coping strategies, there's tons of them. So the other thing that we might need to do is we might need to seek professional help. So everybody needs a little bit of help from time to time, and there's absolutely no shame in seeking professional help, however that might come. It might make all the difference in the world. Reports have listed that the U.S. is actually at its highest level of depression that it has ever seen right now. So our mental health really is truly just as vital as our physical health. If life seems a little bit too chaotic and you're not able to manage that stress on your own, do seek out that professional help, either from a physician, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, or your religious leader. Or if your stress is financially related, make sure that you're talking with your financial professionals. We are definitely here to help. Stress is important, but it doesn't and shouldn't rule how we operate. Here's another one. I'm going to ruin stuff for somebody. So what color do you guys think this shoe is? And we got pink and gray, green and gray, gray, blue, and green, silver and aqua. Wow, silver and aqua. Okay. Okay, I'm going to ruin it for you. This is all about perspective. So if your brain actually thinks this shoe is more illuminated, you're going to see pink. If your brain thinks it's more reflective, so it's in the shadows, then it's going to appear teal or green and gray. So it's not really the shoe, but the strange lighting that has made this an optical illusion. It really truly is all about perspective. So when we look at the larger picture, we want to ask ourselves, what difference will whatever we're dealing with right now make next week or next month or next year? Will getting upset resolve anything? Does it really matter what's happening? So much of our lives are spent worrying and fretting over things that will not worry in the long term. Quit waiting for something better. I don't know how many times I've heard, if this, then it will be better. If I get a new job, if I move into a new place, if I have $1 million, then everything will be better and I'll be happy. We need to remember that we are not in control of everything that happens to us. We cannot control other people's actions or reactions, world events, everything. You only get to control how you react to that situation. No one makes you mad. You choose to get mad. You choose to be happy. So, you know what drives me crazy? Yes, I know it drives me crazy. I allow it to drive me crazy. But you know how many emails that I have actually received from people that start during these unprecedented times, or in our uncertain future, or when everything stopped? I have lost count of how many I've gotten. Honestly, I even have a difficult time moving on to read what they have to say because they started out with such incredible hopelessness. If they had started it out 2020, a year like no other, or thankful for a future with surprises, or the year that our families reconnected with some quality time together, or even just simply, hi, I would have totally wanted to hear what they had to say. But if you look for the negative, that's all that you're going to see. And by reframing our words and our language, we can actually help to spread hope and positivity. So it's all about perspective. So don't let your stress be financially driven. There are things that you can do to let it go and move forward. And you are so totally welcome for the little song that's playing over in your head and will be repeating for hours to come today. You'll remember this presentation. So don't avoid looking at your bills. That's the number one thing. Rip them open. See what you got to work with. And the fear of the unknown is really far worse than what is sealed in that little paper envelope. You can't work with it until you know what it is. You got to name the elephant. So make a list of what's stressing you out. This happens to me all the time. I start thinking about all the stuff that I have to do, where I have to be, who I have to make sure is picked up, groceries, bills, everything. There's too much. And pretty soon this task that should have been maybe a 5-minute chore has become so monumental in my head that I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to take a couple months off of work in order to get it all done. So grab a piece of paper, write them all down, get them out on paper, and make sure that you're getting them out of your head. Get another opinion. Sometimes we're so close to the problem that it's hard for us to see a solution. Talk to a friend, a family member, or even a trusted professional about what you should do to start moving forward in your debt, your anxiety, or your numb feelings. They will have a different perspective and they will help you move forward. Make a plan. Get off the couch. Figure out what you need to do to make stuff happen first. Sometimes the biggest stress is not knowing where to start. Make things happen. Adapt the plan. The best plans are the ones that are followed and changed to fit your needs. So if it ain't flexible, it ain't a good plan. That's my motto. You need to always make sure that there is an escape route in case you have an emergency or you need those emergency funds. Don't think that there's not going to be another emergency in life. It is truly messy, and there will be. It just is how life works. Accept your limitations. When you look at what you have to work with, how much your daily lives cost and what you want in the future, you really need to recognize your limitations. Focus on the things that you can control and adapt the things that you can, and change the plan when you have the means to do it, but definitely not before. If you don't have it, don't spend it. This needed its own slide. Practice gratitude is such an important thing. Don't stress over the things you don't have. Be thankful for the things that you do. Make a list. I actually have a list. I'm not a great journal writer, but I am an awesome list writer. And I have a list on my phone that I add to all the time. It really does help me put things into perspective so that when I'm having an off day, it helps how I can reframe. So in the chat box, I want you guys to list at least one of your gratefuls, more if you have them. So list a grateful for me. What are you grateful for today? Health, awesome. That's a good, grateful family, supportive family. Oh, that's awesome. Zoom Bible study with mom and sister, my family. Family's a big one. Family and faith, my dog. Sun came up over our farm and not snow and ice. That's great. Financial security. That's awesome, Barbara. Not everybody can say that right now. Health. These are all great, guys. So think about how you can put these in a list and keep them in your phone. One of my favorite things is we went on a camping trip this summer with my son, and all I wrote was water balloon fight. And every time I see that water balloon fight, it makes me remember how there was just complete joyful laughter in our water balloon fight. And there was not an adult. The kids were pretty dry, but the adults were just completely sopping wet. The kids were vicious. So there's all sorts of things that we can be grateful for, and they don't have to be big. They can be just that you woke up and you saw the sun. So these are all great. Excellent, guys. So make sure that you're thinking. You can also do a journal when you get stressed out, and just think about what caused your stress, how that stress made you feel, how you acted in response, and what you did to cope or feel better, and then the effectiveness of that strategy. Being joyful. This is excellent. So, oh yes, absolutely, Laura. I'm peeking back to the chat box. Extension is awesome. So being joyful. A dear friend of me told me years ago that you should always strive to be joyful instead of happy. And I'm going to read you a little thing, and it's down here in this web link on the slides, and the slides are available on the website. So there is a difference between joy and happiness. Happiness depends on external factors to exist. Happiness happens to us. Even though we may seek it, desire it, pursue it, feeling happiness is not a choice that we make. Joy, on the other hand, is a choice purposely made. It is intentional. Joy is an attitude of the heart and spirit present inside of us as an untapped reservoir of potential. It's possible to feel joy in difficult times. Joy doesn't need a smile in order to exist, although it does feel better with one. Joy can share its space with other emotions like sadness, shame, and anger, but happiness cannot. Happiness is not present in darkness and difficulty. Joy never leaves it. Joy undergirds our spirits. It brings to life peace and contentment. Joy requires a connection. Often the connection is with other people, but it can also be with pets, creation, creativity. Joy is present. In the moment, happiness mostly just passes through. When happiness is present, it is larger than life. Nothing seems better or worthy of attention, but happiness is also fickle. It can be present for weeks on end and gone in an instant. Joy is constant. Despair is happiness's brother. It is temporary, although it never feels that way. Despair is the product of circumstance. It cannot hold a candle to joy. Joy can overcome anything and everything in its world if it's allowed, if it's chosen. With joy, there is hope. With joy, hardship offers growth and opportunity. With joy, self-esteem and self-respect are indestructible. Practice gratitude and joyfulness, and all other things in this world, including our present world conditions, will definitely lose their sting. So resilience is another thing. Not a lot of people know how to practice being resilient. So how resilient are you? Resilience is actually defined as the capability to recover quickly from the difficulties or the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape. So our elasticity. So let's think about this last year. There's been a lot of change, mostly bad change, but every morning we wake up to start another blank day. It's how we decide to bounce back and use that day that determines our resilience to the crazy that is our world right now. So the Turning Point Foundation has 10 facets of resilience that can help you manage stress, cultivate optimism, and remain hopeful and more. We're going to quickly go over these facets, but definitely go and check out this website down here, and they will go into all sorts of different tools, but we're going to go through each one quickly. So the first facet is the ability to self-calm. This involves effectively managing your response to stress by being aware of your nervous system. You can do this by using like grounding methods, like saying just this. So ground yourself in the present moment by giving yourself permission to just focus on one thing. What I need to do right now is just this, nothing else, just this. Sometimes I have to do that. I have to get up the stairs to my building. I just need to take one step, just this. It's the bites. Take 3. This is a reset button for your nervous system. Intentionally pause several times throughout the day and just take 3 breaths, deep breaths. Do supportive breathing by taking those deep breaths and exhale. Say, I can do this. I'm okay. Whatever happens, I can handle this. Gratitude breathing is another one. Think about someone or something that relaxes you and makes you feel happy. So your happy place, think about that. And then get in touch with how that person or thing or place makes you feel, and start breathing. Breathe deep all the way into your heart and let that gratitude really sink into your body, warming and relaxing you with each breath. The next one is self-care. Self-care includes all of your health behaviors that help you balance the effects of emotional and physical stress. Self-care is about valuing your body and believing that your needs really do matter. Give yourself permission to do whatever you need to do in that moment. Ask yourself, what do I need most to feel better? It sounds kind of cheesy, but it's not. Make sure that you put your own oxygen mask on first. It really is not selfish. If we can't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others. Filling our bucket. That self-replenishment includes all the things that you do to restore your energy and sense of well-being when your life actually feels draining. So you can do this by several different things. I just picked out 4 that I absolutely loved, but this website has tons of them. So give compliments, appreciation, kindness. Those random acts of kindness are amazing for self-replenishment. Say hello or check on or smile at others. We can smile with masks on. People know when you're smiling. They can see it in your eyes. Think of something you did well or that you're grateful for, and then swap answers with a friend. Just what we did here today, thinking about all these other things that people are grateful for. It's awesome, the things that it pulls in for us. Limit your time spent listening to or reading negative news. Get away from that. Emotional expressiveness is having an awareness of your emotions as they occur and having the ability to process them effectively, acknowledging and working through your emotions rather than ignoring them. It's really easy when you're mad to just, okay, I'm just going to leave it alone and it's going to go away. But by acknowledging those emotions, it actually diffuses their strength and makes them feel far less overwhelming. So if it helps, find some quiet time in your schedule to practice this following process. When you start to feel overwhelmed, take a few deep breaths and name the biggest emotion that's bubbling under your surface. I call this naming the elephant. You can't very well start gnawing on the elephant until you need his name. So you got to name him first, but then you need to start just taking one little bite at a time. Notice where the emotions show up in your body. If it's anger, do you have a clenched fist? If it is sadness, is there a heaviness in your chest? Take another deep breath, and without trying to talk yourself out of it, without judgment or anything else, just blow it out. It's okay to have this feeling. It's normal, and I am not my emotions. These are the things that you need to tell yourself. Take the deep breaths and picture that emotion actually lifting and releasing or letting go. Some situations and emotions might need a little bit more time or even a little bit of support. So make sure that you're talking with your friends or family that are trusted. Non-judgmental and self-supporting. I love this picture. Don't cut your branch off at the base of the tree here. So this means that you recognize when you're being overly harsh or critical with yourself or others. And you can change your thought patterns and language to be more positive. When you notice that you're saying a self-critical statement, imagine replacing that statement with that replacing I with you. So you're saying it to someone else. If you would never dream of saying such a thing to a friend, a coworker, a child, or a partner, that is a really good sign that this is the inner critic talking and it's not your strongest and more supportive self. As you notice those judgmental thoughts, see if you can replace them with some more supportive things like, I am doing what I can with the time, knowledge, and resources I have right now. When things don't go right, it's an opportunity to learn and grow, but make sure that you're being supportive and not judgmental. Optimism. This is the positive expectations about the future and believing that the right time, effort, and support can make any problem more solvable. So even though our brains are more apt to go to the negative, it is possible to retrain our brains to be more positive. So clear old stories from your brain, including assumptions, snap judgments, and past resentments to make room for a more positive reality. So ask yourself, does this thought keep me stuck or help me move forward? Hope is having the capacity to set goals, take smaller action steps to reach those goals, and stay flexible when things don't go as planned. Hope really is the backbone of optimism. It is not enough to believe that things will work out. You must also have goals and action steps you can take to improve the chances things will work out. Staying hopeful means being flexible so you can adapt to all the change and challenges of life. It requires you to tap into a deeper sense of self-confidence, resources, and support. A great way to do that is to start a gratitude practice. So, hardiness. Here's my elephant. It is giving your best effort even when things are tough. It includes focusing on what you can control about your situation and viewing difficult situations as learning opportunities. Why is it important for me to keep going? And how will I learn and grow from this challenge? This is important. Ask those questions for yourself. The opposite of hardiness really is denial and avoidance. So And like I said before, introduce yourself to your elephant and then make a list of the small steps that you can take just one bite at a time to manage the task, situation, or issue that feels overwhelming. The sense of coherence is the belief that life is meaningful and worthless struggle. It also includes the belief that there are resources, routines, and rituals that will help you handle the chaotic and unpredictable parts of your life. Your life is meaningful, and how you respond to that challenge of life really does matter. So work on your ability to hold two truths at once. That's a tongue twister. It is the overwhelming thought or feeling when that overwhelming thought or feeling comes up, acknowledge it while thinking of the truth that will live alongside it. So here I'm going to give you an example. I am struggling. This is really hard for me right now. And always use and. I am grateful for my support system, and I know I am strong and I'm going to get through this. I am fearful of what things might look like in the future, and with more time and collaboration, we will figure out how to navigate the days ahead. Social support. This includes the support and encouragement shared between friends, family, coworkers, peers, all of us during good times and bad times. It helps with a sense of belonging, safety, self-worth, and improves depression and loneliness. So your support system should be very diverse and include different types of people with different strengths. Good characteristics to have in your network include compassion, good listening skills, and the ability to challenge you in a way that promotes your personal growth. So it is really important with your social support that you set really good boundaries and have ground rules for communication, especially when you or others start dumping versus sharing. Having a dumper in your support system will feel extra draining and very one-sided. So dumping might be you ignore any signs that this might not be the best time to ask for a listening ear, versus sharing, you are okay with a no and you can talk to someone else or wait for them to talk. Dumping might also be you do not check in with your supporter or ask how they're doing, but a supporter is someone that makes sure that your supporter is good and that this is an okay time to talk. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing that we can do is play on the one string that we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. This is a quote by Charles Swindoll. So getting back to what we love. In 2000, I contracted viral meningitis and I suffered from 3 strokes. Doctors actually told my family that they needed to take me home, make me comfortable, and basically let me die. I was very, very sick, but my mind was also very strong. When we let the things in life overwhelm us, even when they are overwhelming and we cannot see an end, we can choose to curl up and quit, or we can finger our nose at the obstacle. When we choose to be resilient, powerful, forward thinking, we will find the peace to move in the right direction. We cannot stop. Soon we'll be looking back on this point in time in our life and smile because we chose to live life against the challenges. Okay, to finish the story, in case you were wondering, spoiler alert, I didn't die. Okay. Just in case anybody was wondering. In fact, I went on to earn numerous college scholarships, graduated not once, but twice with a BS and an MS, earned several financial certifications, and have helped hundreds of thousands of people. I smile because when I knew that my life was dangling, that's when I grabbed it, protected it, moved forward joyfully and gratefully. Our world has not changed. It is still spinning. It didn't stop in March of 2020. The things that we love and enjoy are here and just around the corner. Don't forget to look at the finish line. Even if you can't see it yet, it is there. Everything will fall into place. And please, please, please quit calling this the new normal unless this is the normal that you really want. Strive to make your future better because you know how to shake the financial numbness and plan for any new challenges that come your way. Attitude and perspective is really, truly 99.9% of any battle. In order to move forward financially or otherwise, we need to make sure that we have a stable base to start. Once you master all of these things, joyfulness, gratitude, resilience, all the other pieces will fall nicely into place and help propel you. I have so many tongue twisters in this that it will propel you fearlessly into your financial future. I thank you very much for taking the time to hang with me today. And I hope that you are filled with all sorts of ideas and lots of hope as we continue to move through this crazy life together. If you have any lingering questions, I would be glad to answer them. We have a couple minutes left. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback, or concerns, I would love to answer those or help you with those. All of the resources and materials, Laura posted the slides up there. If you want copies of my presentation and my notes, I'm more than happy to share those too. Just get in touch with me. And if not, have a very amazing, wonderful, grateful day.